Here are today's top stories. Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo defended the decision of Makati RTC Judge Elmo Almeda ordering the arrest of Senator Trillanes. President Duterte remains highly trusted and approved despite a drop in his ratings in a recent Pulse Asia survey. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas warns the public against investment fraud and other scams this holiday season. And President Duterte awards medals to soldiers wounded in an operation against the Abu Sayyaf. Good day, I'm Pia Rosas Marato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Malacanang is challenging those who oppose the arrest of Senator Antonio Trillanes to file charges against the judge who issued the arrest warrant. Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo defended the decision of Makati RTC Branch 150 Judge Elmo Almeda ordering the senator's arrest. This after Congressman Edsa Lagman said the arrest warrant issued against Trillanes is illegal. Panelo said the decision was studied carefully while giving due process to Trillanes. He also described Judge Almeda as a no-nonsense judge who has a reputation for independence and probity. Panelo said Trillanes should face his charges instead of milking the issue and sowing seeds of sedition against the administration. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque meanwhile urged Trillanes to prepare his legal defense and stop what he referred to as a senator's drama by press con. 20 million worth of suspected shabu and 4 Hong Kong nationals were arrested by operatives of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA in separate operations in Parañaque and Manila. More on this from Rom Dulfo.
Operatives of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA seized a total of 20 million pesos worth of suspected shabu and at least 4 Hong Kong nationals in buy-bust operations conducted in Parañaque and Manila. PDEA Director General Jason Aquino identified the suspects as Lam King Hwa, 35, resident of C Residences in Pasay, Wong Kaluk, 38, currently billeted at Red Plant Hotel in Pasay, Lam Wing Bun, 52, and Lang Min Sun, 56. Hwa and Luk were arrested at around 5 a.m. Tuesday in the vicinity of a gasoline station near Asiana Power Station along Judado Macapagal Boulevard in Parañaque City. The suspects yielded 2 kilos of suspected shabu worth some 13.6 million pesos and 16 liters of chemicals for shabu production. Aquino said Lam and Wong are believed to be the facilitators or handlers of chemists involved in operating a kitchen-type illegal drug laboratory in Pasay. Meanwhile, chemists Bun and Sun were arrested at around 9 a.m. Tuesday in another buy-bust operation in Manila. Seized from the suspects were 1 kilo of shabu worth 6.8 million pesos. The PDEA chief said they have noticed that the suspects were bringing in big luggage believed to be stuffed with shabu inside their condo unit. Aquino said a probe on how these Hong Kong nationals were able to bring in shabu into the country is ongoing. Aquino suspects a backdoor entry in Mindanao or maybe into seaports. The Hong Kong nationals are suspected members of the 14K or Hong Kong Triad Drug Syndicate. The PDEA chief highlighted that intelligence and information from Hong Kong counterparts led to these successful operations. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Malacanang on Tuesday cleared Vice President Leni Robredo from the military's claim that members of the opposition are brewing a plot to oust President Rodrigo Duterte. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says Robredo was not among those specifically named to be part of the conspiracy. Roque says Robredo took an oath to support the Constitution and she should not support any unconstitutional means to remove the president. Robredo, who is chairperson of the Liberal Party, earlier slammed the alleged ouster plot, describing it as alarming and baseless because it undermined the country's democracy. Roque meanwhile said despite the vice president's name being absent from intelligence reports, he could not deny the fact that other members of the opposition are still conspiring to oust the president. He reiterated that efforts to oust Duterte will not succeed because of people's continued trust in the president. President Rodrigo Duterte remains to be the national official with the highest approval and trust ratings despite suffering a double-digit drop in a recent Pulse Asia survey. Results of the survey conducted from September 1 to 7 showed the president scored a 75% approval rating and a 72% trust rating. These figures are 13 points and 15 points lower than his approval and trust rating in the previous quarter. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says he believes Duterte still has a very good approval rating and the highest of all the officials surveyed by Pulse Asia. Roque said Malacanang is not affected by lower survey ratings, noting that the president is more focused on doing his duties. He also noted that the country's rice woes affected the president's approval and trust rating. Roque, however, assured that the government is exerting efforts to reduce the prices of rice and other food products amid rising inflation rates. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said he will look into the possibility of filing technical malversation and graft cases against former NFA Administrator Jason Aquino. Roque explains that Aquino is liable not only for technical malversation, but also for graft and corruption for contributing to the problem of inflation and high prices of rice. He questioned why Aquino did not spend on rice from local farmers to fill up the country's buffer stock, which led to the need to import. He also noted that Aquino delayed importation despite the go signal of the NFA Council. President Duterte earlier revealed that Aquino wanted to be relieved from his post since he could no longer cope with the demands within the food agency. Still to come, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas warns the public against investment fraud and other scams this holiday season. The NBI begins identification of bodies recovered from the landslide in Naga City in Cebu. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente. September 13, Huwebes, NDRRMC Command Center. Pinulong ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ang kanyang gabinete upang paghandaan ang paglandfall ng bagyong Ompong sa Northern Luzon. September 16, Linggo, Tuguegarao. Nagtungo ang Pangulo sa Cagayan para sa situation briefing at sinuri ang pinsala ng bagyo sa lugar. Lawag. Nangako ang Pangulo sa local officials ng Ilocos Norte na susuporta siya sa mga naapektuhan ng bagyo sa sektor ng agrikultura. September 17, Lunes, La Trinidad, Benguet. Matapos ang kalunos-lunos na sinapit ng lalawigan sa pananalasan ng bagyong Ompong, ay binatikos ni Pangulong Duterte ang mga minahan na nagdudulot ng panganib sa buhay ng tao.
We have a problem with our mining industry. It has not contributed anything substantial to the national economy. Though I must admit that we earn about 70 billion a year. And if you're ready to accept that as a profit, let us make it simple for the country. But in the end, how much do you lose in the process? That mining thing has really contributed a lot of heartaches for the Filipino people. It is time for us, particularly the DNR, General Simato, to take a second look seriously now regarding the dangers of the open pit mining.
Personal na nakiramay ang Pangulo sa pamilya ng mga nasawi sa landslide mula sa iba't ibang lugar sa Benguet.
Ang makasabi lang kung kailan tayo mamatay, hanggang kailan tayo mabuhay sa mundong ito, saan, paano. Ang Diyos lang talaga ang sagot ng lahat ng tanong na ito. Even if I make a vain attempt to blame somebody, to blame the weather, or maybe to blame the negligence of others, it won't really help anymore.
September 18, Martes, Isabela. Nagpasalamat si Pangulong Duterte sa mga lokal na opisyal sa Isabela dahil sa zero casualty sa kanilang lalawigan at masusing paghanda sa paparating na bagyo.
Pumunta ko dito is to congratulate the officials, the governor, vice governor, and everybody of you who were ready at the forefront, ready to face the onslaught. and I admire the preparation.
Hindi rin pinalampas ng Commander-in-Chief ang pagkakataon na bisitahin at magpasalamat sa 5th Infantry Division sa Camp Melchor de la Cruz sa Isabela. September 19, Miyerkules, Malacanang. Pinanumpa ng Pangulo ang mga bagong opisyal ng Liga ng mga Barangay. Nakipagpulong siya sa mga opisyal ng Land Bank of the Philippines at Department of Agriculture. Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Senate President Tito Sotto is pushing for the lowering of the age of criminal liability to 13 years old. Sotto filed Senate Bill 2026, noting that criminal syndicates are exploiting the provisions of the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006 by using minors in crimes. The law exempts children 15 years old and below from criminal liability. Sotto pointed out that the average minimum age of criminal responsibility in Asia and Africa is 11. In the United States and Europe, it is 13. He added that not only was the law abused by criminals, but the innocence of youngsters were deliberately taken from them. Under the proposed bill, an offender below 18 years old of age but above 12 would be held criminally liable and subjected to the appropriate proceedings unless proven that he or she acted without discernment. Children who committed serious crimes who are above 9 years old up to 12 years old shall be deemed neglected and placed in a special facility. An accident involving maintenance vehicles of the MRT-3 has caused delays in its operation Wednesday morning. The MRT-3 management said two Unimogs accidentally collided between Buendia and Guadalupe stations while doing maintenance works. Due to the accident, the insertion of trains, which usually begins at 4:30 a.m., was delayed by up to an hour at 5:30 a.m. 6 MRT personnel were injured in the incident. The MRT started its operations in Cubao with 8 trains inserted to the railway line as of 6 a.m. The Department of Transportation, meanwhile, deployed additional buses to assist affected passengers. The MRT-3 usually operates from 5:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. during weekdays. The holiday season is coming and scammers and other unscrupulous individuals are on the loose. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas warns the public to be careful with their money. Miguel Hill tells us more.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas warns the public against fraud and scams in the wake of the fast-approaching holiday season. BSP spokesperson Paulette Gay Mengilla said during Christmas season, fraudulent activities are very rampant as scammers are active and noticeably numerous. Some common types of fraudulent activities are text scams, credit card and ATM skimming, pyramiding schemes, spurious investments, identity theft, phishing, spoofing, budol-budol, and dugo-dugo scams. The BSP gave the following tips on how to prevent being victimized by fraud. Be skeptical and exercise due diligence in selecting purchases and investments, including the people with whom you deal. Make sure you fully understand the investment before making the investment. Beware of testimonials and take time instead to do careful research. Check out an investment through independent agencies to make sure it is legitimate. Never send money to pay for taxes, fees, prepaid cards, or lottery winnings that you did not join. Do not be fooled by the promise of large sums of money for your cooperation. Safeguard personal information. Avoid disclosing personal or account details via phone. Do not click on web links embedded in emails and keep an eye on your credit card after use. Finally, do not immediately follow instructions for any demand of money. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
The local electronics industry can survive the scrapping of certain tax spurts, such as the 5% gross income earned under the second tax reform package. Radically revamping the Philippine Economic Zone Authority's processes may, however, prove even more worrisome. Maxim Integrated Vice President for Asia Factory Operations Richard Cohen said that the company will work on whatever will be the final version of the tax reform package. He noted that the government's Build, Build, Build program may help the Philippines become a better place for businesses to locate. He added that the biggest benefit derived from locating inside PEZA zones is the ease of doing business, as it provides a one-stop shop service for its locators. Under the current tax regime, PEZA locators enjoy 5% special tax on gross income in lieu of all national and local taxes except for value-added tax and real property tax. The National Bureau of Investigation in Central Visayas has started the disaster victim identification process on the bodies recovered from the landslide site in the city of Naga in Cebu. Forensic experts led by Dr. Reen Kam had the ID processing in Cebu City. Kam says the 22 bodies are already in an advanced state of decomposition. He said all they can do at this time is to look for distinguishing features on the bodies like scars, birthmarks, moles, or tattoos and have them verified by the relatives. In the absence of any distinguishing feature, Kam said they will have to conduct DNA examination in order to obtain positive identification of the body. The unidentified bodies are among the 56 fatalities recorded by the Emergency Operations Center in Naga, Cebu in last week's landslide. Meanwhile, 10 people have been rescued from the massive landslide while 41 are still unaccounted for. Up next, government troops seize firearms from a suspected NPA safe house meant to be used in an ouster plot against President Rodrigo Duterte. President Rodrigo Duterte awards medals to soldiers wounded in an operation against the Abu Sayyaf. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Welcome po dito sa DSWD National Resource Logistic Management Service.
Kung gaano kahanda, kami ay handang-handa po. Lagi po kami nakasubaybay. Kung may pararating na bagyo pa lang, kami nagpe-prepare na kung sino yung mga i-assign namin. Kagaya ngayon, itong bagyong Ompong, kami ay naka-2 shift isang araw mula alas 8 ng umaga hanggang alas 8 ng gabi. Ang susunod na shift namin ay alas 8 ng gabi hanggang alas 8 ng umaga.
Kami yung mga representative na volunteers ng Philippine Coast Guard. Every taon nandito kami. Pag nagre-request mga DSWD, andito lahat ng mga trainees namin. Ginagawa namin to para sa mga tao na nangangailangan ng tulong namin.
Since the President has brought the quality of, the benchmark of yung quality ng leadership dito sa country natin, brought it notches higher, I think he also deserves help from the people. Although a lot of people are verbally helping him online, a lot of people in my org feel that we should actually take it to a different level where we can be physically there to help the government and their departments whenever we can.
So what we have now is the mechanized production system. So this is a 58 million project of the DSWD in partnership po with the UN World Food Program funded by the UK government. So what it does is, meron kasi siyang mga makina. So it is more efficient than the manual packing. So all in all, if it is at its maximum capacity, it can produce up to 50,000 family food packs by just utilizing 200 people.
Parang hindi mo rin kasi talaga may papaliwanag kung ano yung saya na mararamdaman mo. Tapos, nang wala kang hinihinging kapalit, 'di ba? So, talagang yung bukal sa kalooban mo yung ginagawa mo. Is talagang masarap sa pakiramdam. Parang nakakataba ng puso talaga.
Yes to volunteerism! Yes to Philippine!
The Presidential Communications Operations Office.
Government troops have seized assorted firearms suspected to be intended for Red October, the supposed plot to oust the president. The 80th Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army and the NBI found the firearms in a suspected NPA safe house in a farm in Teresa Rizal. 8 people, including farm owner Kibe alias Lili Ong, were arrested. Brigadier General Arnulfo Marcelo Burgos Jr., commander of the 202nd Infantry Unifier Brigade, says The operation was a result of months of intelligence work. He says they were pursuing Armando Lazarte alias Patromano, Secretary of the NPA Sub-Regional Military Area 4A, and Tirso Alcantara alias Bart, former commander of the NPA Regional Y Unit Guerrilla. Burgos says the presence of the NPA means they are waiting for a chance to initiate the Red October plot. Various government agencies in the Cordillera are preparing livelihood opportunities to families affected by the fatal landslide in Itugon, Benguet due to Typhoon Ompong. Freda Gawisan, provincial officer of the Department of Trade and Industry in Baguio, Benguet, said the agency has so far profiled and interviewed some 95 families who sought livelihood assistance. Gawisan said more than half of these locals want to get into farming, the rest into hog production, retailing or sari-sari store, poultry raising, vegetable trading, and weaving as alternative livelihood. The DTI will also establish a negosyo center in Itugon to prepare the families for their transformation as small entrepreneurs. Dozens of Itugon residents, mostly miners and contractual laborers, perished in a major landslide in Barangay Ucab at the height of Typhoon Ompong. The Philippine Navy and Royal Australian Navy are conducting a 10-day maritime security activity to enhance the capabilities and readiness of the two countries in combating terrorism at sea. The joint exercise, dubbed as the 5th Combined Maritime Security Activity, kicked off on Monday following the arrival of the HMAS Launceston in Zamboanga City. Rear Admiral Rene Medina, Naval Forces Western Mindanao Commander, said the joint exercise includes maritime patrols in the waters of Zamboanga Peninsula, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. The Navy is utilizing BRP General Mariano Alvarez in the joint maritime exercise. The exercise is part of the anti-piracy and anti-terrorism campaign of the government, similar to Australia's regional maritime security. These joint maritime exercises will end on October 4. Edgardo Manuel Angara won over his French opponent to reach the boys singles category main draw of the 14 and under championships at the Kalena Jaya Tennis Complex in Selangor, Malaysia. Angara demolished Enzo Michel in the qualifying round on Monday to join Marc-Andre Jarata and Axel Lajon Gonzaga in the next round of the tournament sanctioned by the Asian Tennis Federation. Also advancing were Hong Kong's Muk Chao Jiang and Malaysians Ryan Lei Eng Lim, Paviliam Thadani, Akash Karakate, Limar Hait Mod, Rosdi, Deren Padmanathan, and Muhammad Haris Afwan. Malaysia's Kwang Yong is the highest ranked player in the boys singles main draw. He is number 13 in the ATF rankings. Aside from boys singles, the tournament also features boys doubles, girls singles, and girls doubles categories. Filipinos Nina Angeline Alcala, Tiffany Claire Nocos, and Mariel Alexi Jarata are also in the main draw of the girls singles category. President Rodrigo Duterte recognized the heroism of several soldiers who risked their lives in the fight against terrorism. More on this from Maricor Zapata.
President Rodrigo Duterte has conferred the Order of Lapu-Lapu, level of Kampilan, on 14 soldiers who were wounded in a recent clash with Abu Sayyaf bandits in Sulu. Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Desana, Information Officer of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Western Mindanao Command, said the 14 awardees were among the 17 soldiers who were wounded in a clash with about 100 bandits headed by Abu Sayyaf leader Gadulan Sahiron last September 14 in Patikul, Sulu. 7 bandits were killed in the clash and 6 others were injured, including Abu Sayyaf sub-leader Hatib Hajan Sawadjaan. The President visited Camp General Teodolfo Bautista in Jolo, Sulu on Monday, accompanied by Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, AFP Chief of Staff General Carlito Galvez, and Westmincom Chief Arnel de la Vega. De la Vega awarded wounded personnel medals to 2 of the 17 wounded soldiers who were taken to Camp Navarro General Hospital. Another wounded soldier was transferred to the V. Luna Hospital in Quezon City. The military offensive against the Abu Sayyaf bandits was an effort to rescue 11 hostages who are still in the hands of the terrorist group. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at today's top stories. Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo defended the decision of Makati RTC Judge Elmo Almeda ordering the arrest of Senator Trillanes. President Duterte remains highly trusted and approved despite a drop in his ratings in a recent Pulse Asia survey. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas warns the public against investment fraud and other scams this holiday season. And President Duterte awards medals to soldiers wounded in an operation against the Abu Sayyaf. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all for social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.